You just switch on, my love.
When there was a sharing yesterday about that softness inside, and it was what I felt was a very profound, and I think I said to you when I came up at the end, it gave permission. There was a permission to really sink into that softness and live from that, which is something that unfolds more and more day by day. But there was a real permission in that. And then in the afternoon, I felt the urge to make a telephone call, which I knew I would had to make at some point. And this relates a lot to, and brought up a lot similar to what the last lady shared. And I let go of a job which was very much an acceptable role in society before I came here, that has served very, very well and was given by grace and was right in its time. When I came away for an extended period this time, I knew there was a chance that they would replace me. So yesterday I made the call and found out that they have. And such a huge amount of movement in the body, which could be labelled as fear, but it was seen. But it was like there was this really frightened little girl, as to how are you going to live? And in that moment, it was also known that it was a real opportunity to fully trust. And when you share about being that baby, it is seen that this is an opportunity to really be that. But actually, at the moment, there's a really strong little girl who's really afraid. So that, and I can see a grasping. I can see mind kind of grasping. Okay, well, you must go and try and find other things to do, and you need to go and arrange this, and go online, and you can make this call. And I choose not to live from that space anymore. So I just really wanted to share that and offer that at the feet of grace, because I don't want to live from that space anymore. I don't want to live from that grasping. I have a strong will, strong body, strong determination, so I've always been able to push through with that. And if that strength needs to be used, then it will be used in the future, but I don't want to direct it from here.
A different strength will come. Not the former strength that you know, not the pushing one, not the active one that must get things done in a certain way. The strength of softness. We can call that the divine impetus. What a magnitude of strength that is. But beautiful. So you can see the test as it's coming, as it's happening. You can feel the fear, that little one, that little girl. How am I going to survive? Not just a little girl, a human. That's the journey for the human being. The human mind is obsessed with its survival because it feels finite. Okay, and you tasted that. You tasted it in its absolute raw state. And you said no. You said that's not who I am. It's not about living in another place. That softness is not a state. It's you. It's the you that contains this little you. Know the deeper you, and then the little you is absolutely free to dance its unique dance. Wonderful. And from that softness, a knowing will come that something must be done, let us say. And your next task now is to watch the mind that will want to grab hold of your intuitive knowing and see it into form. Okay? Do you understand what I mean? Arisings will come from softness, or a seeing that something is going to happen. Something is your path. Much information is available to you when you are soft. But the mind jumps in very quickly to contain it, to push it into existence. Allow the divine impetus to move through you as you. You're not living your life. Wonderful. That's how you catch yourself. In the moment, in that detail of making that phone call. To see the emotions that come, the reactive response that comes. Not judging. You didn't speak in a judgmental way about that little one, but you did see her.
And she's been pushed away and ignored as well, so for the most of this life. So it feels okay, actually, to see her, to let her be scared.
Taste every emotion that comes. It's not about silencing them.
Yeah.
To come to the heart is not to be suddenly whitewashed of all feeling, but simply you won't suffer your feelings. Okay, so when something comes up, allow it to burn, allow it to be felt and understood. You can't transcend something until it's felt and understood. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
My heart tells me I need to be here, and the words are not really known.
I think you need to switch it back on, Mel.
Yes, is that on?
Can you just turn the level up just a little bit?
I feel like something's really collapsing. And I look at you and I feel like I should try. It's not comfortable feeling like this, wobbly and shaky and
Try to do what?
try to be centered in my heart. And then there's this tears, and I was very struck when you said you can't actively surrender. And that's what I've been endeavouring to do this week.
Surrender is what comes when you taste yourself. There's no choice about it. Its hands at the feet of that. That's a collapsing into yourself. But consider a wall when it's about to tumble. It wobbles a lot. You have to go through the wobbly phase in order to collapse. So let the body tremble. Let the mind tremble. You are held.
Yes.
And you've tasted yourself through this form. So use the form until you no longer need to use it in that way. Nothing is wrong.
I know that too. It's just.
Would you say it feels very uncomfortable to be this wobbly?
Yes, and there's the judgments.
Let yourself feel uncomfortable. Of course it's uncomfortable. Now you know it's true.
Yes. I've watched how hard my white mind works. Saying prayers, saying mantras. I'm beginning to get a sense.
How hard your mind works.
Yes.
To be free.
To be spiritual.
To be spiritual.
To do what I've been instructed to do. Just seeing the bigger picture of that.
What do you know?
I know the truth of love.
Okay. That's it. Everything else can come. If love wants you to chant a mantra, it will give you a mantra, and you'll have no choice about it. Bathe in that knowing. The more you bathe, the more you crumble. The more you allow the crumbling, the more you stabilize in that heart. You can't try to know love. You can't think love. Nonetheless, the one active step, if we can call it that, is to say yes to this.
Yes.
Okay? Is to be willing. Is to take that mind and bring your focus back inward.
And that's the edge I was experiencing with the edge of the collapse, and then
Can you speak a bit closer?
experiencing the collapsing and calling myself back.
Okay.
And just feeling the totteriness of that and the layers of trying that get in the way with it too. I laugh at the seeing of it.
And yet, all those steps, all those ways of being spiritual, as you put it, have led you here, so they weren't wrong. How beautifully placed they were, each one. And now you've moved into a deeper space where you don't need them in the same way. Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
What an auspicious rupture. You tell me it feels uncomfortable, and I say how wonderful. What grace.
I can recognize that too.
I know you can. That's why I can say it.
Thank you.
You invited me to come back and report. So I'm reporting.
Fantastic. Very good.
So I started off remembering to be very soft. And I was very soft the whole day. And it was lovely. And then life gave me a kick or a shove. And I realized it wasn't enough just to be soft. I needed to be strong as well. And you just spoke before about the strength of softness. And I thought, well, you've just preempted my what I needed to say. So
Can you say what happened?
I think I paid too much for some taxi thing. And I thought I just wasn't paying attention. I was just being, oh, well, yes, that's all right. And so I felt a little bit of a that I was taken advantage of or something like that. So I wasn't paying attention because I was just being all nice. Or something.
Okay. So at that point, did your softness feel flimsy niceness?
I think I was unaware.
Okay.
I just wasn't paying attention.
So the one that can feel taken advantage of, this one will keep rising up from any direction. Okay. Why is it you can feel taken advantage of? And what is the feeling towards the other who you feel has taken advantage of you? What emotion came towards him?
It was more what I felt about myself, that I had let myself down. It wasn't the other person. It's just that I had allowed this person to take advantage of me in some way. So the responsibility was mine.
Okay. So
in the past, I've been very good at being bullied when I was a child. So it's always like my fault that I've allowed this to happen.
I see. Okay. So the one who is bullied and the bully are two sides of the same coin.
I keep forgetting that bit.
Both are in fear of outside forces. Okay, the one who is bullied is at the mercy of outside forces. But the bully is also in fear of outside forces because it's got to demonstrate its strength in order to fight before outside forces can get it. Okay, so it's the same fear. I must contain myself. I must protect my space. This is the root human fear. Because the minute you became identified as this man, as this person, you were different and separate from all the other persons. And that puts you into a position of isolation, separation, loneliness, and fear. That's your position for existence. What a position for 7 billion human beings to be jostling around together, each islands of fear.
Hard work.
Hard work, yes. And it means that every other that you come up against is going to be a threat to your position in some way or other. The softness I'm speaking of, the softness of being, is not about having a nice sensation. It's not about feeling comfortable or feeling calm. It's the nature of your being, within which you will discover real strength, clarity, discernment. There's that word again. From that position, you can feel misunderstanding in a so-called other, but hold it. Like a parent to a child, okay? If a child is having a very strong tantrum, and a parent hits it and shouts at it and tries to stop the tantrum, it's only going to create more noise. But when you hold that child very firmly and set boundaries, but let the expression come, something very profound occurs. A deep learning occurs for that child. But the parent has said, this is as far as you are allowed to go. I'm holding you, but this far. Otherwise you will hurt yourself. So when you come up against another at this time, who pushes that button in you, the bully button in you, now's your moment to pull right back, to know that softness of being. You can even allow that other one to have their moment of misunderstanding, but be very clear in your no. Love is also no. But it's not a judging no.
A firm no.
Yes, sometimes it has to be very firm.
Mm.
But let's be clear about who is feeling firm. Okay?
It's the sense of being in my body that helps me to be strong and soft at the same time, I think, rather than some idea in my head.
Was softness an idea in your head?
Sometimes it is.
Yesterday, I asked you, what do you feel? And you say, I hate that question. Okay. But when you really allowed yourself to eat the question, you sank into softness of being. It was not an idea. It was your experience. Okay? Learn to understand the difference between a thinking and a knowing. Do you think you exist, or do you know you exist? There's a gravity to a knowing. It's unshakable. No one could have said to you yesterday, no, you're not feeling soft. You're wrong. And even if they had, you'd have said, well, I don't know how I know, but I know this is true. That's strength.
It's trusting that. If you're not familiar with it, it's trusting that it's there in the first place.
So now it's trust. What you are is beyond even trust. When you knew that softness, you'd gone beyond trusting the softness. You just were the softness. Do you see? But yes, there is truth in what you're saying, because for now, the trust is allowing the mind to redirect its focus. This we can call trust.
So sometimes there's knowing and other times there's not. And it comes and goes.
So what's happening now? Can you give me some feeling or sensation or something that's arising in you right now?
Uncertainty.
Okay.
A memory of a certainty.
So let's feel the difference in vibration between the two. The uncertainty. Can you give it a description?
It's like a wobble, but
Okay.
a very indiscernible one, kind of like a vibration.
Okay. And the remembrance of certainty?
That's stillness.
Okay. What is seeing? What is seeing? Do you see the gift that's been given to you? Life has shown you the opposite of stillness to deepen your recognition of stillness. Because where would you rather be? In the wobble or in the stillness? That wobble has come to remind you of stillness. That's the gift of doubt.
I think for most of my life I've actually preferred to be in that wobble, even though I've hated it.
Sure.
But
well,
now I'm
yes.
pretty much done, I think.
Yes. That's the human story in a nutshell. But how beautiful that you've reached that crunch point. Can you look at me from here? Right now? How does it feel when you look from here?
Much nicer.
Is it wobbly? This is your true position. Now from here, the one who feels bullied, can you look at him from here? What can you say about this one who feels bullied?
Compassion.
What more to say?
Patience.
The one who can feel bullied has simply forgotten their true position. The one who bullies has simply forgotten their true position. That compassion is real strength. Rootedness. Rootedness. To be rooted in your knowing. Like an anchor. Okay? You are compassion. Yesterday we called it softness because that was your experience of yourself, the word that came. Today the word is compassion to describe you. Beautiful. I'd love to hear more.
Every day a new word.
Wonderful. I look forward to each day.
I have been putting in practice coming to the heart to watch a strong identification with a very negative emotion that somehow I feel is the curse of my life. And I keep bumping into small little triggers all day long that are converting this into a roller coaster trip in these last 2 days, and I decided to try to look at it from a different place instead of just staying with my head with everything that happens in it and watch. So the seeing is increasing of the deep roots of it, but not the story, not the drama, and some of the drama as well. And the more this happens, the stronger the identification is taking place. And at the same time, yesterday, when I said to myself again, because I did the day before and before like this, it's like try to get back to that place of silence where right now I'm using the form, so I see you with the love. And from there, in one incident, I was able to feel compassion for the little girl who feels like this. And in another moment, it felt like it lost its grips, even though I know the whole thing is there. And then the moment there is no vigilance, then the whole thing jumps back again. And so it's like somewhere between the emotional heart and the real heart. The line is not clear.
The line
is not clear. Okay. And also, is this the way it's like, because this line is a bit blurred sometimes, and it keeps coming and it's getting stronger, and this morning it felt like that's my curse, but it's not the first time I feel this, and the identification is very, very strong with this.
Yes, and it's going to be even stronger while you're here. So go with it. Let it come up. It's like an infection that has to rage. It has to get very pussy, and you have to have a very high fever in order to clean out the infection. So let it come. At the same time, you have your roots. You are deepening in the silence of your being. And as you say, the more you brought your focus back to the heart, there was nothing to grab onto anymore. For a moment. Okay, that's okay. Add those moments together. Eventually it becomes your whole picture. This is a divine process. The emotional heart is leading you to your true heart. Nothing is wrong. Are you able to be a little more specific with the details?
I will say this because I feel very ashamed of it, and I've always felt extremely ashamed of this being my core subject. So in a way, I want to exorcise it and put it in the presence of the grace. I feel that I am existentially rejected, kind of like as if the gods had said, you don't have the right to be loved or access to the loved one. And I feel like on a very deep level I created a life based on this, and it gave me a very strong identification. My life has not been easy, and especially coming from a country where I come from, and I'm tired of this. And for the first time, even though the strength of this and the power of that pain is very ingrained, at least with my head at some point, because I sometimes it's so strong I can't sink into the silence. Mm-hmm. So at least with my head I say, you know that you're not this, so just accept that this is not a reality, because it feels so real.
Mm-hmm. Sure, but that will last just for a little while. When it's just your head saying it, it might make you feel momentarily comfortable.
It doesn't.
But it won't last.
Okay.
Even if it did. The one who has had a strong experience in their life, or many strong experiences, has been given a great gift. No, you haven't had a hard life. You've had a life full of grace that's pushed you into the heart. Every experience that's ever happened to you has been unpeeling you back to God. It's all the divine play. The one who feels at the mercy of outside forces is the one who says, I've had a hard life. The one who feels identified as a victim at the mercy of a perpetrator is saying, I am other than you. The one who feels rejected. This is deep in the collective conditioning.
I rejected by God. It's
Of
like,
course.
how far can I go?
Of course. And you're not alone in this deep rejection. It is the root pain, the pain of separation, has then been translated as, I am not worthy of God's love. I am not good enough. God does not love me. After all, he abandoned me. This child is very angry at the parent.
I don't want to talk about the anger because that's so much fear about feeling even this, but
Okay.
it's there.
You're not alone, my love. You're with 7 billion human beings, all feeling the same root fear of rejection.
Well, you brought this point of the victim and the perpetrator. It's very important for me right now to know when in these last few days, as I am seeing as well in my relationship the patterns of what is going on, I am coming to a place of more understanding of the perpetrator and also more compassion. And at some moments, I feel also the deep loving connection that is between me and him. But there is this confusion about, well, if I stay in this place, which is basically what he's also asking, it's like we stay in the place where we feel this connection and keep falling into it rather than all the other places where whatever is taking place, the victim, the perpetrator, the abuse, whatever. What to do in the real life, like this lady when she was talking about the fear. There is a very fine line about where you stay with I trust the divine, and I have seen so many people drift away in nowhere, and some people, grace took them somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
The fine line between the practical life and the
It's all one life. There is no fine line. Every moment of your existence is a moment of grace. It's your route, and it's led you here to ask the deepest questions that any human being can ever ask. And in that questioning, the layers are being stripped. So the victim and perpetrator, who are these ones? It's the same, if you like, as the bully and the one who is bullied. These roles are so defined. But to define a victim in opposition to a perpetrator is a contraction of seeing. What a limited view that is. Again, it absolutely solidifies the idea that I am different from you. I am good and you are bad. There's no such thing as bad. There is only misunderstanding of yourself. The victim is misunderstanding their self. The so-called perpetrator is in deep misunderstanding of their self. Within that, within the seeing of yourself, within true self-recognition comes discernment. You know what's good. How do you know goodness?
I have a feeling that in that particular subject, I still don't discern. It's like I have not come to a place where a real decision, if I can say it this way,
Sure.
what to do in the situation has taken place. So
Sure.
maybe.
So what a teaching for your whole country, and for every country where this is playing out. Of course, it's playing out in different form everywhere. Your urgent responsibility is to know yourself, to know the happiness of you. Can you in this moment look at me from here? Let space look at me. Is it possible?
I found myself inside saying, yes, I am worthy of being loved by the divine.
Okay, so the mind is still speaking. Does the heart need to confirm to itself that it's worthy or not worthy?
I think my experience from that place is that the heart doesn't even ask that question.
What of now? Don't speak from memory. Tune in. Feel me in your heart. It's okay. It's on the microphone, my love, sorry.
I feel ashamed of being with this pain, even in front of all these people.
But your pain is the collective pain. Everyone is carrying what you're speaking. Even if it's not part of their story, they're still carrying it. You are the collective.
Why me?
Why are you second-guessing God? Why me is saying, God, you got it wrong.
You caught me there. It's my anger at God too, you know.
Yeah.
So if it's going to come, let it come. That's what's coming.
Let it all spill. You see, you sat down, you said you have one root conditioned aspect within you. We've just highlighted several, all in the same story. Okay? There are layers inside of your layers. Let everything overspill at this time. You're held. That is the human fight. The fighting love. We crave it and we run from it at the same time. After all, if the parent abandoned us, why would we ever trust it? But something led you to sit here. Something has brought you back. Heart put you on a plane from Spain and said, no, I must be there. Recognition occurred. Do you see? It's because of your seeing of pure love that everything is now really heightened. That's the grace. That's why you have to be willing to hurt. To come to the heart is to be stripped of everything. It's to be completely dismembered of yourself. Yes, I did warn you.
You warned me that this was going to happen.
Okay, it's all coming out now. Yes, it's much more painful if you struggle. Let the axe fall. And you see the perfection of the blood falling with the tears. Wow. Do you need to go and... I think you should go and wash, sweetheart. Do you want to go and sit down? Okay. So shame is here for now. You're just going to have to sit with it for a while, okay? But Layla, with me. When you sit back down, I'm still here. You just go and put your head back, I think.